Hey, it's Carrie Flatlight here, Remax Real Estate, Lethbridge, for Friday Fire. I'm going to go on a very quick little rant here today before I go show a house. But the number one way to move people forward in any situation toward a goal that we're not doing at all anymore in society, the number one way is by listening. So it's actually by doing less, talking less, being distracted less, closing our mouth and listening. And my philosophy has always been is that you cannot be a good leader until you listen first. You have to listen to lead. And it's a subject that I would like to talk about a lot more over the next little while. During the election, I probably knocked on 8,000 doors. I'll have to sit down and figure it out one day, but it was thousands and thousands of doors and thousands of people. And the one thing that came up again and again and again was how hungry people were for someone to listen. It was such a simple thing. Just look somebody in the eye and listen. And here's what's going on in the world right now that's making this almost impossible. And I think it's why we're becoming so disconnected and less compassionate, is we're not able to sit and listen without being distracted. So we interrupt all the time, right? So as soon as someone starts talking a little bit longer than what we wanted, or we think we have something to say, we interrupt. When I order something in a drive-through, quite often before I've even finished my order, the person on the other side is interrupting me to finish my sentence and say back to me what they think I was about to say. So interrupting is a problem. Our phones are a problem. So sitting at dinner with your family or with a friend or having a business meeting and you're picking up your phone all the time and checking it while they're talking, that is the worst, most offensive thing you can do when somebody is trying to tell you something, is to look at your phone and check your phone, because there's nothing more important in that moment than listening to what that person is trying to say to you. And the minute you start listening, then they feel validated, their fears and their concerns are heard, and you can now be more effective in moving forward, right? And the other thing too is social media has just trained society to stop listening. It's just a one-way blowhorn, saying what you think and putting up your meme and getting mad and virtue signaling, which just drives me absolutely crazy. It's too much of a one-way channel and makes it very difficult and discourages listening. My goal is always engagement with social media, but I see the opposite quite often. So that's kind of my rant about our inability to listen and how damaging that is to our sense of connection and purpose with each other. And so, to counter that, just always remember, and I do this with my real estate clients too, is that communicating is mostly about listening. Yes, it's about body language and all these things, but how are you ever going to pick up on what needs to happen next or what is concerning that other person until you just be quiet and listen and look them in the eye? So not listening while you're doing something else, right? And checking the time and looking at Facebook on your phone or texting somebody. Listening means like stopping everything that you're doing and being very present in the moment. And I just see so little of that now. It makes me so sad. When I be standing on a doorstep talking to a voter, if I just listened to them, even if I didn't agree with their political views, they were just so happy that somebody would listen. And, the odd person would be really upset, but quite often you can diffuse a situation just by being a good listener. You don't have to agree with everybody. And it's not about who's more virtuous than the other person and I'm right and you're wrong. Like, that is not what communicating and connection is about. It's about listening, and people just want to be seen and heard. And we have so little of that. Society is so hungry for that now. And, in your professional life, You'd be amazed at how you can move people forward simply by being a good listener. You don't have to have the perfect thing to say. You don't even have to offer the perfect solution to what they're concerned about in that moment. Just be a good listener, and a lot of great things will flow from that, right? So that's really my rant for today, but it's been on my mind a lot, maybe because of the election and, knocking on 8,000 doors or whatever it was really a listening tour of sorts. I wasn't going around to save the world. I was trying to understand what was on the voters' mind, and I approach business that way as well, and I approach my relationships that way, right? So when we sit down at my office, at Remax, the first time I meet you, I'm just listening and trying to understand who you are, what keeps you up at night, your hopes and dreams, and all of those very human things. And if I'm a good listener, then everything else will flow from there. So that's Friday Fire for today. It's raining, but I challenge you to be a good listener this long weekend. Maybe you're camping out in the rain, or you're going to have a quiet weekend at home with your family, or spend some time with friends, and find a few minutes to just stay quiet and listen and see what you hear when you're truly listening. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.